everything else is a champion. But when we talk about MVPs, marami-rami ang nandyan sa Creamline Cool Smashers.
And they may be the only team with no new additions in their roster, but they are definitely the home of the MVPs. You have Alyssa Valdez, a 3-time conference MVP. Gemma Galanza, our 2019 Open Conference MVP. Then you also have Gia Morado de Guzman, a 3-time Finals MVP. So walang problema kahit na walang nadagdag na bago.
Lumakas pa, gumaling pa, at tayo again, they weaponized the fact that they were intact. One of the other matchups, we have so many matchups here, Neil, in terms of individual opposites, sa wings, sa ating mga, of course, setters. Pero ang labanan ng libero magiging crucial dito. Receiving and digging is going to be big in this series of attackers.
And it's high time to really give credit to these liberos dahil sila talaga yung nag-a-anchor dun sa depensa ng bawat kupunan. Kylie Atienza, Cien Cruz, and Bang Pineda, all with amazing stat lines. Look at that. Nagdo-double time si Kylie Atienza. 44 digs compared to the 46 combined effort of Cien Cruz and Bang Pineda. Pero definitely, they are evenly matched on the floor. So it's all about who's going to bring their A game in today's game.
So efficient, so effective, and very much needed in this campaign. It is game number 1 of the finals. Here, the 2022 PVL Open Conference. Let's get to our competition announcer for our starting 6.
And now let's meet our national referees for this match. First referee, Mark Santos. Second referee, Erwin Lou Cordero. And now the starters first for the Creamline Cool Smashers. Outside spiker from the Ateneo de Manila University, number 2, team captain, Alyssa Valdez. Middle blocker from the College of St. Benil, number 6, Jeanette Panaga. Setter from the Ateneo de Manila University, number 12, Gia Morado de Guzman. Middle blocker from the Far Eastern University, number 13, Celine Domingo. Outside spiker from Adamson University, number 15, Gemma Galanza. Opposite hitter from the University of the Philippines, number 8, Tots Carlos. Starting libero from FEU, number 11, Kyla Atienza. Head coach for Creamline is Sherwin Meneses. And now the starters for the Petro Gazz Angels. Outside spiker from San Sebastian College, Recoletos, number 5, Quetzal Soltones. Opposite hitter from the University of Santo Tomas, number 8, Isa Maizo Pontillas. Middle blocker from the Far Eastern University, number 9, Rem Palma. Outside spiker from the National University, number 12, Myla Pablo. Middle blocker from Juniata College, number 13, MJ Phillips. Setter from De La Salle University, number 17, Chi Said, team captain. Starting libero from Adamson University, number 1, Bang Pineda. Head coach for Petro Gazz is Jerry Yee. This game is held under the supervision and regulation of the Games and Amusements Board. This is game 1 of the finals between Creamline.
What a conference it has been. It's been incredibly remarkable regardless of the compressed schedule, but you know, it's a step better than what we had in terms of the experience from last year. And now to the Open Conference, as you see the starting 6 for both teams. And now we're almost at the end of the road for a exciting 2022 PVL Open Conference. And it's just going to get better from here on in. The response, of course, of the fans, nagutom, uhaw na uhaw. At nakita naman natin itong linggo na to, Neil, they have showdown.
And it's a weekday, pero punong-puno tayo dito sa MOA Arena. So I'm sure the fans are just grateful to have their presence also here.
You're watching us on One Sports. We bid you a good day. Chi Sayat, the veteran, emotional after the semifinal win, will get us going. Soltones. Carlos. And how crucial will blocking be?
It's going to be very crucial dahil alam natin that Creamline is probably one of the best attacking teams that we have here in the Open Conference. You have to be able to at least control the production of Tots Carlos dahil in the past few games, she has been scoring 20-plus points for the Cool Smashers.
35% attacking accuracy para sa Creamline to the 29% of the Petro Gazz Angels. First point for the UP Fighting Maroon. What have you seen from Tots Carlos improving from last year to this year?
Well, from last year, nakita na natin yung glimpse ng capabilities niya.
Yes.
But I feel like Gia de Guzman has unlocked kung ano pa yung naitatagong potential ni Tots Carlos. She's very comfortable anywhere you put her. She can hit from the outside. She can hit from the opposite side of the court, even from the back row. And she would manage to produce points for the Creamline Cool Smashers.
Service ace from Gemma Galanza. They're averaging 1.8 a set. They are a high-risk, high-reward serving team. Phillips. Saved. Back to Petro Gazz. Chi. Pablo thought it was out, but she took it anyway. Aiza will try again. Atienza, and a chance ball for Petro Gazz. Soltones. And Aiza Maizo Pontillas checking Eliza Valdez at the net.
That's the biggest contribution that she will be making. Aside from the point production from offense, yung depensa, malaking bagay yan for Aiza Maizo Pontillas.
Actually, si MJ Phillips pala
Oh,
yung,
that was MJ
officially,
Phillips.
yeah. MJ Phillips. How about her? You transfer to a team, you go straight to the finals?
And it's the first time that she's playing in the middle blocker position also.
And contributing very well for Petro Gazz. And Mark Santos says it is out.
If there's any team na feeling ko kayang i-match yung firepower ng opensa ng Creamline, it's the Petro Gazz Angels. You have Pablo, Soltones, Maizo, and Phillips. So, pwedeng sila yung maging kontrapelo ng trio ng Galanza, Carlos, and Valdez.
Saet. Back to Aiza. And here, Petro Gazz told me, nothing to lose. A lot of people underestimated them. They're not expected to be in the finals, although they are a championship franchise here in the PVL. So they're going to play free. They're going to play loose because all the expectations and pressure are on Creamline. And also, Neil, as Eliza Valdez spikes this one, let's finish this rally first. Valdez will try another one. Side keeps it up. Pontillas. They reverse to Tots. Galanza was there for coverage. Balik kay Tots. Bumalik na naman sa Creamline. Eliza on the other side. Inabot, tinapik. Long rally here. Did somebody touch the net? It is Panaga on the block.
Good start for the Petro Gazz Angels. Really getting good rebounds against Tots Carlos. Looks like they really scouted the Creamline Cool Smashers in their previous game against the Choco Mucho Flying Titans.
What did you see? I'll get to a winning streak, but what did you see in that previous match that they were pushed to 5 sets, talking about Creamline?
Well, ang naging difference talaga was the blocking. Hindi masyado nagkaroon ng offensive blocks yung Creamline against Petro Gazz in the preliminaries, but one of their assistant coaches told me that they had around 60 rebounds. So that was enough for them to be able to set up their counter-attack. For Petro Gazz naman, they had a lot of offensive blocks. And if they can control Tots Carlos at the very least, they have a good chance of getting game number 1.
Dito na frustrate ng konti yung signal. Nung balik ng balik yung bola from Petro Gazz Angels, they always were in transition. The winning streak is 8. The last time Petro Gazz Angels won, it was July 14, 2019. That is in the reinforced conference. It's been an 8-game winning streak since. 1-1 tayo pagdating sa finals, as you know. 1 for Creamline, 1 for Petro Gazz. Of course, a different cast as MJ Phillips explodes at the net.
What a play from Chi Saet. Perfect set and perfect timing for MJ Phillips. It's important to note that she is a tall middle blocker, and that will definitely be an advantage if you want to score against Sed Domingo.
Who's the better blocking team for you, optics-wise? Not numbers-wise, but optics-wise.
Optics-wise, I would say it's the Petro Gazz Angels. Floor defense-wise, merong edge itong Creamline, but numbers-wise, boom, mas angat sa blocking itong semifinals and quarterfinals yung Creamline.
They stepped up their blocking, which was really a surprise to the Creamline fans. They weren't blocking so much during the preliminaries. Over-receive.
And that's one key to victory for the Creamline Cool Smashers. We all know every time na nagkakaroon ng problema ang reception ng Petro Gazz, dito sila bumibitaw sa mga set. And if they can milk that service line with a jump serve of Tots Carlos, they can establish a lead against the Gazz Angels.
And again, they are a very offensive serving team. Soltones handles it well. Pablo, the revelation from the semifinals. What can you say about what Pablo has done in the semifinals for Petro Gazz against Signal?
She really contributed a huge deal for the Petro Gazz Angels.
Nagulat ka ba? Nahinugot siya.
I was actually expecting her to start ng preliminaries pa lang. I didn't know the reasons why she started off the bench. But it's nice to see her shine dyan sa semifinals, because we all know that stars come to play in the crucial stages of the conference. And yun yung ipinakita sa atin ni Myla Pablo.
Hitting error by Myla Pablo, though, gives Creamline a 7-6 lead. And it's been the Tots Carlos serve that's been serving them well. And that serve sometimes stabilizes Creamline. Nasa settle down sila, That's in. And Tots Carlos serves us to the first technical timeout of Game 1. The PVL 2022 Open Conference is also available on Smart Giga Play. Let's go to our segment host, Alexis Tinsay.
Unexpected favor but fully deserved ticket. Remy Palma shared that the Petro Gazz Angels only prayed to get in the top 4 spot, and that was already a championship for them. So for them to be in the finals is actually surreal. Remy mentioned that they may not have the trendiest and youngest players, but their simplicity and commitment to the basics and learning new things are what leads them to stand the strongest amid storms. Kung sino kami, kung ano kaya namin ilaro, maglalaro kami ng malaya today. Let's see the Angels gas it up against Creamline.
Yun yung sinasabi natin kanina, that they wanted to play free, and loose. But right now, it is Creamline that is loosening up in this first set, Theo.
Right now, Creamline still dominating the attacking department. 4 attack points already for the Cool Smashers compared to the 2 of the Petro Gazz Angels.
At patuloy na nagsaserve si Tots. 9 serving 6. They were down here in set 1. Saet will go to Aiza. That is wide. Oh, it's in.
And I like the report of Ai as she said that simplicity is the key for the Petro Gazz Angels. Tama yun, they don't have so many fancy plays or yung mga optics-wise, yung mga kakaibang plays, but it's very effective for Chi Saet and the rest of the Gazz Angels.
And now even if you build a lead on Petro Gazz Angels, you know that they have the ability mentally to come back because they've done it so many times.
Actually, coming from that huge comeback against the Signal HD Spikers, I would say that mindset-wise, medyo may kalamangan yung Petro Gazz because there's a different confidence level. Imagine they had 2 sets in game number 2. Nakamuntikan na silang bumitaw, but they still managed to enter that finals. But right now, Creamline still looking good. They are the only team na undefeated pa rin in our open conference.
And the only team who tested them were the Petro Gazz Angels. First service error for the Creamline Cool Smashers. Serving, 1.5 aces a set ang average ng Petro Gazz Angels.
And that is one point of concern for the Cool Smashers. They have to limit their unforced errors. There came a point na 30 yung nakomit nila nung semifinals.
Gia Morado, De Guzman finds an open spot. The thing about Creamline, Neil, is now offset yung kanilang dami ng errors sa dami ng atake nila minsan, ano? Not to excuse them or anything, pero they get saved by their offense. As said Domingo, serves it up. Chance here for Creamline. The running attack. Mishit na. Nakapuntos pa rin.
Even the middle blockers of the Cool Smashers getting involved in the scoring picture. In their last game, almost 5 players scored in double digits.
Pama couldn't get to it. Let's go to Coach Jerry.
Diba? Nandun lang yung middle eh. Mas bata tayo, di ba? So, gagalaw tayo. Pag may pagkakataon, gagalaw tayo. Eh, simulan na sa pasa. Simulan. G, pag bumuka yung resulta.
Hey, Petro Gazz!
That preliminary match that we were talking about, as we see the crowd here at the SM Mall of Asia Arena, was in 5 sets. The score was 25-23, 23-25, 25-19, 23-25, and then bumitaw sa dulo in 15-10. Out-attack ang Petro Gazz doon, 76-59 in that preliminary match, just as a baseline for our conversation. Chi. Said, open. Galanza is in the front line. And she announces her entry into the front line with authority.
That's just the first point of Gemma Galanza, but you can hear the Creamline fans screaming at the top of their lungs.
And it's right in front of us, Neil, when that happened.
What a polished down-the-line hit from Gemma Galanza.
Domingo with a nice serve there. Palma on the run and gun.
One of the holdovers from last conference, Remy Palma, still a force to be reckoned with in front of the net. And
Against her old FEU Tamaral teammate. Said Domingo, 9 will be serving 13 here. Familiar pitter-patter footsteps before she launches that serve. Galanza receiving. Gets it back and open space for the former Adamsonian.
very simple for Gemma Galanza. Again, hitting it at the highest point.
What a swing. Beautiful replay.
And she sees the gaps between the blockers of the Petro Gazz Angels pag merong nalilate.
Soltones receiving and attacking and gets the point. 10 will be serving 14 here in game number 1 of the finals.
Defense-wise, I would say that Petro Gazz is a very stable team, but they have to match the offensive output of the Creamline Cool Smashers and force them to commit unforced errors.
They're number 2 in digging and number 4 in receiving here in the conference. Galanza again.
Gemma Galanza, 3-4, 300% so far for Gemma Galanza.
This time from the right side, from the right block. And she goes to our service deck with a 5-point lead. Phillips, dug up by Galanza. Valdez. There's a touch, according to the linesman. It is 16-10. We will be back. Sulit TV, 6-6 sa saya para sa buong pamilya sa halagang 780 pesos lang. Mabibili sa Mega Manila, North Luzon at 2 cities ng Visayas at Mindanao. Mabibili rin sa Shopee at Lazada. Visit Sulit TV Facebook page para sa iba pang impormasyon. This is the biggest lead already, Neil, at 17-10.
Petro Gazz might have the edge in offensive blocking, pero yung defensive blocking ng Creamline is enough really to convert those transition plays. Oh, it's a 7-point lead for the Creamline Cool Smashers.
Yan na naman. This time it is Panaga whose forearm scrapes the net, touches the net.
There was also overreaching violation called on Panaga. The ball was still on the side of the Petro Gazz Angels.
Serving 17. Panaga humingi. Bumalik sa Creamline. Reverse set to Eliza. Coverage was there. Isa. Return to sender.
And even the blocking of the Creamline Cool Smashers finally kicking in here in the first frame. They have been the best blocking team in terms of numbers in the semifinals. And sabi nga nila, their blocking is peaking at the very right time.
One of their weakness in the preliminaries has turned into a strength here in the semis and now in the finals.
Laro. Yun lang gagawin natin, maglaro.
Huwag mag-alala yung spiker, huwag nyo na i-din para di ma-uli ng block. Masyado lang sobrang lang. Walang drop sa likod ng blocker, ha?
Mammoth crowd here at the SM Mall of Asia Arena for game number 1. Game number 2 will be played on Friday in Antipolo, in Alice Center. We'll go up there. In the meantime, 18-11. What should Petro Gazz do to recover here, Neil?
They really have to be able to convert points of their offense, and they do just that courtesy of that quick hit from MJ Phillips. 11 attack points rather for the Creamline Cool Smashers compared to the 6 of the Gazz Angels. So again, defense-wise, walang problema sa Petro Gazz, but they have to match the firepower of the outside hitters of Creamline.
Valdez is rejected. Lead has come down to 5. With MJ Phillips serving us up. Let's look at that again. Open spot. That will sail out
Five unforced errors so far for the Petro Gazz Angels.
Creamline trying to redeem themselves this year with a championship. As Tots Carlo was the problem in the earlier goings of this set. That's a double. Or a lift, the catch and throw on Remy Palma as Gemma Galanza from the back row.
Kanina from the open, doing damage to the defense of Petro Gazz. Then she went to that opposite hitter position. Now she goes to that backcourt attack.
Grabe rin yung development ni Gemma. Former MVP, of course, as Tots. They get to it, but they can't keep it in play. I'm actually happy Tots went back to her jump serve kasi sa Baccarat, di ba? She abandoned that already.
Now we have substitutions for the Petro Gazz Angels.
The returning Janelle Cheng. And is it Jonas Sabete?
Yes.
So both of the returning players of Petro Gazz, they're made of holdovers, returning players, and new recruits. While the other team is fully intact. And an over-reception by Tots Carlos.
That can be another strategy for the Petro Gazz Angels. You keep on targeting Tots Carlos para kahit papaano mabawasan ng isang options si Gia de Guzman. Because we all know na deadly din yung pipe attack from Tots Carlos.
Oh, nice recovery there by Soltones. Balik kay Tots. Cheng was there. Bang. Would set it up to Sabete. Sabete, access denied.
Double block. Seth Domingo roofing Sabete in that last play. That's the second kill block for the Creamline Cool Smashers. I think that was Eliza Valdez.
Yes, right hand of Eliza, who is serving right now, 21-15. Got a service error earlier. This one is good. Sabete on the other side, lumusot sa block.
That's what I like about Jonas Sabete. Even if she gets blocked the first time, she would still go to that full power on the second attempt.
You know, Jonas Sabete, Gemma Galanza, you know, the smaller open attackers. Let's not forget Bang Pineda back in her Adamson days. A lot of people seem to forget that Bang Pineda was a flying open hitter. And speaking of flying and open.
And that's what I said. The blockers were already focused here dito sa side ni Gemma Galanza. They forgot that they still had Tots Carlos to guard in that back row. Now, Phil England Cayetano will be doing the service chores for the Cool Smashers.
Bang. No, there, carry over. The play is still alive. Cheng thought she made an error. Tuloy-tuloy pa rin. But now, 2 points away. The Creamline Cool Smashers are doing it on offense and doing it on defense, Neo.
If you have the Cool Smashers dominating the offense, tapos mag-click pa yung depensa, it will really be hard for you to overcome that 7-point deficit.
Sabete, was that a reception error or was it a setting error in your eyes, Neo?
It wasn't the perfect of passes for Myla Pablo. Again, when you have a setter in the back row, tapos masyadong dikit yung bola sa set, magkakaroon talaga ng tendency na hindi mapo-perfect yung offense.
Set point number 1. Tots. Gia still able to get a hand on that. Pineda. Cheng. Easy over. Gia. Panaga gives Creamline a 1-0 lead here in set number 1.
When you least expect it, yung middle quickers ng Creamline will show up to score more points.
Walang sumabay, ano, Neil? Unexpected. Unexpected for Petro Gazz, but I'm sure Creamline, they planned that, they expected that, and they executed it well, 25-16. first set goes to Creamline. It is game one of the finals between the Petro Gazz Angels and the Creamline Cool Smashers, undefeated all throughout the tournament. Petro Gazz pushing the Creamline Cool Smashers into 5 sets in the preliminaries. But the first set, a little trouble for Creamline at the start. But after that first technical timeout, Neil, it looks like Creamline settled down, served well, defended well, and then talagang broke the game wide open, at least the first set.
At this point, Creamline is just following their game plan. It's really to challenge the service reception of the Petro Gazz Angels, and they were successful in doing that in that first set. They were still up top in the offense department. So this second set, the Petro Gazz Angels really need to step up on that reception para hindi mahirapan si Chisait and si Cheng na mag-set up ng offense nila.
Look at some of the sights and sounds of that set number 1. Again, the last time Creamline was beaten by Petro Gazz, July 14, 2019. And as usual, there are more attacks. Now, if Creamline can get their errors to a minimum and then they're attacking like this, medyo mahirap kalaban yan.
And if you notice, Boom, pag nakaka-block ng maganda itong Creamline, dun lalong nagsashine yung floor defense nila. That's why nagiging swabe yung mga combination plays ni Gia de Guzman. So again, for Petro Gazz, they just need to get that good pass. They have to control that first pass para mas makakonvert sila ng more points off the offense.
Speaking of, medyo masama yung simula dito off that loaded serve by Gia de Guzman. Open to Galanza. Galanza continues to swing away big.
Gemma Galanza still unchecked by the defense of the Petro Gazz Angels. She is probably the strongest hitter dito sa side ng Creamline.
May debate dyan, ha? Dati tinanong natin yan late last year from Baccarat. Tinatanong namin yung mga ibang teammates. Sino mas matinding, mas malakas pumalo? And Gemma thinks it's Tots. Tots thinks it's Gemma. Being polite to each other. But you think it's Gemma?
For me, it's really Gemma. I mean, she's just right in front of us, so we can hear the yung pagkalutong nung palo niya eh.
Panaga getting the point off the middles. Now everybody's clicking here for Creamline.
Gia de Guzman always does that. Yung tipong bubusagin niya muna yung mga outside and opposite hitters niya. Then suddenly, when you least expected, she would give it to Sed Domingo or Jeanette Panaga.
Or back then, Lisa Sato. Galanza serving. Those are the numbers so far. Hiningi ni Gretschel. Lumusot sa block. And they get a point. It's important, it is imperative for Petro Gazz not to be left behind here in this second set. Just from a confidence standpoint, Neil, so that they can think that really, okay, we got a chance, we can compete here.
Si Gretchen Soltones, malaki yung responsibility niya in Game 1 because aside from the expectations from the offense, she has to help the libero stabilize their defense in the backcourt. So yung reception, yung digging, nasa shoulders din ni Gretchen Soltones.
Is fatigue a factor here, Neil, by this time?
It can be a factor dahil sunod-sunod nga yung mga games nila. And the emotional factor of it all also is a different thing.
Okay. Carlos.
What a clean hit from Tots Carlos.
Very clean, very strong, and very effective. 4-2. You know, I just saw Coach Godfrey Okumu here walking around with Iris Tolenada. He must be sorely proud of Tots Carlos. Gretzel, set back. She will try again. Floor defense of Creamline is working. Carlos tipping. And a chance ball coming. And they open to Eliza. Let's not forget about her. Picking her spots. Supporting and complementing Tots and Gemma.
Another MVP in the fold of the Creamline Cool Smashers. Eliza Valdez identifying that open spot sa depensa ng Petro Gazz.
Valdez looking for her 6th championship with Gia Morado. Yung partnership na yan has produced 2 in the UAP, 3 in the PVL. Chance ball again with a 3-point lead. Sa gitna naman. And you hear the reaction of the audience even before the ball lands, Neil.
Well, when you give a free ball to the Creamline Cool Smashers, expect a good combination play from them. And nagsisimula na pumunta sa gitna si Gia de Guzman. If you already see Tots Carlos going to that middle, you know that you're in trouble.
Laya, running ha.
Yes, Coach, mine.
Pangs, pasok lang Pangs ha.
Hey, Creamline, happy!
You know, that angle on the replay that we had earlier was the perfect angle to see how Sed pulled one of the blockers. And Remy Palma got a little bit confused on where she was going to go. But no confusion on the Tots Carlos attack for the 6-2 lead. Set 2, game number 1 on One Sports. Boom Gonzalez, Neil Flores, Alexis Tinsay at your service. And speaking of, Panaga will get us going for this rally. Another first ball problem there, but Gretzel Soltones ad-libs.
It's a good thing she knows how to score off the broken plays. Dahil isa yan sa mga pinakamahirap paluin yung galing sa likod, and Creamline just let go of that ball. That's a point for the Petro Gazz Angels.
Also wonderful to see Gretzel in shape and no injury, you know, because she obviously is such an incredible talent for Petro Gazz. Open to Eliza. And Bang Pineda could not keep it in play. The lead is 4. Coach Jerry Yee reinstated this year. Coach Arnold Lanyog still there, active of course. He was the one who brought Tots Carlos and Isa Molde and that gang to UP. He was still the coach then.
Sa mga pinakatahimik natin na coaches, si Coach Jerry Yee, but he's very effective in that position. Para makukuha ka na lang sa tingin in all of his timeouts.
Balita ko hindi tahimik sa training. Palma with a 3-point deficit, 4 serving 7. They scramble, and Valdez is still able to score. We'll take a break. 8-4 is our score, set 2. Stay alive, champions for life. Exciting na ang mga laban sa pagbabalik ng UAAP. Panoorin ang UAAP Season 84 Men's Basketball tuwing Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Live dito sa One Sports. That's a UAAP Varsity channel available on Signal TV Channel 263 HD and on Signal Play. Balikan natin si Alexis Tinsay.
With 18 smashing points last game, Gemma Galanza cheerfully mentioned to me that not much has changed within Creamline's dynamics, and throughout the years, they have just grown fonder of each other. For Creamline, they've come face-to-face with Petro Gazz in 2 championships already. That is why they will use their advantage of past experiences to overtake the Angels in terms of attack, service, receive, and blockings. Ready to continue their feistiness and flaunt their chemistry. Expect quality volleyball from this undefeated team.
Long rally here. Thank you, Alexis. Transition plays between Petro Gazz and Creamline. Pablo trying to finish it. No. Says mine. Gemma, cross court. Gretzel from the back. Longest rally of the match. And it ends with an MJ Phillips block.
Good defense being shown to us by the Petro Gazz Angels. MJ Phillips not giving up on that play. Roofing Tots Carlos. Now they cut the deficit down to 2.
That's 2 straight points for them. 8-4 when we were in the technical timeout. Service error by Eliza. And then that long rally. Sed still able to score.
That was a miss hit already for Sed Domingo, but still found a way to score that point for the Creamline Cool Smashers.
9-6. 1-0 for Creamline here in game number 1. Free ball right away off the reception. Oh, Gia miscalculated that one. Oh, they're gonna call a left wide, Neil.
That's a good call from the referee dahil second touch pa lang yung attempt ni Gia de Guzman to put it over.
Right.
So they still had one more touch para maibalik sa side ng Petro Gazz.
Right.
So that was a good call.
Diba?
Yeah.
So, in other words, Mark Santos took away that chance nung pumito siya.
That was a good save from
So it
Panaga.
was in, yes, you're right, you're right. Let ball. So it's still 6-9. Gemma. Galanza na naman!
Gemma Galanza just really finding all her advantages. Every time tumitingin siya sa blocking ng Petro Gazz Angels. When she sees an opportunity to go down hard, she goes all in. Pag nakita niya, nakabantay na yung mga kamay. She uses the hands of the blockers.
That's another thing. She's such a smart attacker, isn't she? Pablo.
Finally, we see Myla Pablo score for the Gazz Angels. She has been quiet so far in this
I was
ball
about
game.
to say, yeah, before she attacked, we haven't heard from their semi-final hero.
And again, she's coming off a 17-point output.
And before that, 18 points in game number 2 of their semifinals. Beautiful play. Nagtitimon si Gia de Guzman, orchestrating this offense.
MJ Phillips did not go up for that block.
Everybody is eating, and they're being fed by that girl. Good first ball. Oh, inabot pa.
Good half time from Panaga. Buti na lang dahil if she wasn't able to block that one, it could have gone the way of Petro Gazz.
It is 12-7, the biggest lead of set number 2.
Kanina, di ba, alanganin yung pasa, basta may dala na sa dulo, may ilalaban naman. Naman, sagay mo na sa pasa.
Let's go, let's go. Petro Gazz Angels.
One-on-one lang naman kayo.
Good to see some of the volleyball players walking around here at the SM Mall of Asia Arena. I saw Cherry Nunag earlier. Andyan si Mika Reyes just walked past us earlier today, by the way. Choco Mucho ahead in their series against the Signal HD Spikers as they won 3-1. And the Petro Gazz fans hoping that they come back, but Gia de Guzman is not allowing that to happen right now. Ooh, solid attack, solid hit.
That's more like it for Gretchen Soltones. If you have a good pass, kayang-kayang gumawang ng paraan ni Soltones to score a point for the Gazz Angels.
Even in terms of the... Well, going back to the preliminaries, na nag-5 set sila, Neil, yung receptions doon, excellent receptions doon, 53-39, lamang ang Petro Gazz doon. So, kaya rin na talagang na-extend nila yung laban na yun, even if they were out-attacked, out-dug, out-set.
That's another combination play for Creamline with Gemma Galanza getting the better of Soltones and Palma.
And now she serves. Been so efficient so far. Aiza doesn't like that close to the net.
Too tight. Eliza Valdez was ready to take that gift from Chi Saet.
Biggest lead now at 6.
At this point, Petro Gazz only has 3 attack points.
Wow.
In the second frame. And yan lang talaga yung nagiging missing link. That's why they're down by 6 points.
That one was very clean for Gretchen Soltones. Down the line, cutting the lead down to 5.
And she is taking charge. Both on defense and offense for the Petro Gazz Angels. Receive ko, palo ko, sabi ni Gretchen Soltones.
Dahil tina-target talaga siya, no? Janelle Cheng will serve. Sapete is back. Valdez, perfect pass, gets it back. Tomahawk dig. Sabete sends it over. Same with Atienza. Cheng reverses to Sabete. Atienza was there again. Gia sets up Carlos. Carlos gets the point.
Yan yung sinasabi ng coaching staff nila. They might not get a lot of offensive blocks, but every time they get defensive rebounds, ang ganda ng takbo ng opensa ng Creamline.
So again, they reinstall the biggest lead of the second set at 6, 15-9. And here's the thing. Creamline is also serving well. There's not a lot of service errors so far.
And that's the specialty of the house for the Cool Smashers. But Gretchen Soltones will continue to fight to cut that lead for the Petro Gazz Angels. Right now, parang lahat ng puntos nang gagaling kay Gretchen Soltones. So the others really need to ask for the ball from their setter. And they also need to step up para maging team effort for the Gazz Angels.
Yan naman ang alam natin kay Gretchen. Gretchen will really fight till the end. Doon naman napako yung paa. So lamang na naman ang 6, 16-10. We will be back. Beat the heat with Signal's super loaded deals this April. Enjoy 300 pesos off and 1 free month when you get Signal postpaid or prepaid subscription. Promos until April 30 only. Subscribe today at your nearest Signal store or call 8888-5555. Let's bring back Alexis Tinsay into the broadcast right now. Go ahead.
Kapitana Chisay, who burst into tears when the Angels won last game, mentioned to me how even she was surprised into entering the finals since they had the shortest training schedule. Grateful that the core players returned this season and the additional members were actually good old friends. It was not about gelling anymore. It's about family and experience-based maturity as veterans. Compared to their unstoppable floor defense last game, let me ask the panel kung kaya nilang bumawi this set 2.
She's on the bench right now as Janelle Cheng is doing the setting chores at this juncture. 17-11, and that's out.
Bonus point for the Gazz Angels.
That is only the 5th error of Creamline so far. But we've seen stranger things happen, and we've seen turnarounds. And Petro Gazz definitely has the ability to turn this match around with the talent that they have and the blocking that they are capable of.
Good defensive stop for Myla Pablo. Again, we are looking for that production from Myla Pablo. She has to replicate what she did in the semifinals.
That's her 4th point. Talking about Myla. 13-17, Sayat back serving. Galanza with that acute angle. Wow.
This time, Gemma Galanza going to that deep cross court. That was against MJ Phillips nonetheless. And Bang Pineda, 2 lines of defense.
Panipisan ng angulo. Domingo. Phillips asking for it.
And MJ Phillips really needs to get the middle blockers involved dahil pag na-establish niya yung sarili niya as a threat, ma-open niya si Soltones and Maizo Pontillas.
Oh, Pablo already 5 points. Gives it to Gemma. Panaga is checked. Eliza keeps it in play. Free ball. Again!
Ooh. MJ Phillips with the hammer. Don't look now. Here comes the Petro Gazz Angels catching up to the Creamline Cool Smashers.
Now talk about impact points. That was a huge one. All over that ball was MJ Phillips.
Pwede naman mag-dress, pwedeng C. Kasi nandun si Maiso at si Phillips eh. So pagka nagka-receive tayo, pangs palo. Ha? Lahi, ano sa gitna, back sa gitna.
Ready.
Ba mo na kasi siniset na kay Phillips eh. Bali nang malate ka dito, tsaka doon, tao mo yun eh. Hindi pwedeng hindi ka makahawak mo.
Hey, green line!
Good point from Coach Sherwin Meneses, giving instructions to Panaga that you have to guard MJ Phillips. Di bali nang malate ka sa outside or opposite as long as you man MJ Phillips.
As I said earlier, the aforementioned Godfrey Okumu in maroon, watching and enjoying this game number 1, right? Almost right behind us. Galanza unable to put it away. Baisel. Gia sets it to Galanza. That's a little far from what she likes, but she tried anyway. Now this lead is down to 2. Petro Gazz making a run.
Too crafty for Galanza in that last sequence. I think she was trying to go down the line, but she wasn't positioned properly. So dalawa na lang ang kalamangan ng Creamline.
Little run here for Petro Gazz Angels.
Another block for Petro Gazz. Now down by 1.
Now deserves a second look. Tots Carlos from behind. And the blocking now of Petro Gazz is coming into play.
And I like the adjustment of the Gazz Angels. They really double up on Tots Carlos, even if she is in the back row.
That one is out though. 19-17. Carlos with 7 points, Galanza with 9, Valdez with 10. 10 quiet points for Eliza Valdez on 8 attacks. Phillips with 8 points for herself, too. Soltones with 6 and Pablo with 5. Gia de Guzman gets us going for this rally. Eliza could not control the pass.
That's still Gretchen Soltones scoring for the Gazz Angels.
Wonder if that's the UP team that...
I think that's the UP women's volleyball
team that's with them right now. Ooh, UAP volleyball real soon, Neil. Pero we got business at hand, the finals of the PVL, 1918. They set it to Isa. Chance here for Gia to weave her magic. They go to Tots. Tots, a soft attack. Still scoring on the soft attack. I think nagulat yata Petro Gazz doon, Neil, na hindi humampas ng husto ito si Tots.
And the floor defense of Petro Gazz was caught sleeping in that last sequence. Kulang lang ng isa or dalawang hakbang itong si Myla Pablo to get to that hit of Tots Carlos.
Soft hit right over the fingertips of the blockers. 20 serving 18. Eliza again.
There's nothing quiet about the production of Eliza Valdez so far.
11 points. Well, she did say, you know, that's why Gemma is there, Tots is there, so that she can pick her spots. And maybe when she says pick her spots, maybe also pick a phase of the tournament.
Yeah.
Where she wants to be the primary attacker. And the finals is a good time for her. Bumalik kay Valdez. This time.
That was too close to the net. Talking about that set, Eliza Valdez tried to power it through and challenge the blockers of Petro Gazz. Pero masyado nang nakasukob yung mga kamay ng blockers ng Petro Gazz.
Ganda ng second set natin, Neil. Humahabol na dito, Petro Gazz. Kumakapit. Gia opens up. Binalikan! But this is out.
Now, errors starting to pile up for the Creamline Cool Smashers. We were talking about them minimizing their unforced errors. In this set alone, they already have 7.
Down to 1. Petro Gazz. They have shown a lot of composure and character in the past in terms of coming back. But Gia knows who to go to at the right time.
Even if she gets blocked, alam ni Gia de Guzman that Tots Carlos will still find a way to redeem herself. Ganda ng ginawa ni Tots nun. Binilisan lang niya yung palo niya because Gretchen Soltones was already there guarding the net.
6 errors for Creamline. Set 2 yun, ha? Creamline has 6 errors already after the 4 in set number 1. Valdez, nobody in front of her. But she overhits that one.
And if you'll notice, yung favorite combination play ng Creamline will always be in the middle.
Yes.
So they will have the middle blocker go for that be quick. Tapos sisingit yung open or yung opposite spiker.
Yes.
Magkakatalo na lang kung sino sa tatlo yung papasok.
Correct.
So that's also something kailangan bantayan ng Petro Gazz Angels.
Tots is blocked, and we are tied.
She has been checked. Petro Gazz doing their homework, trying to minimize again the production of Tots Carlos. She cannot score 23 points again. And right now, we are tied at 22 all.
Let's listen in.
Sorry, umikot ako.
Yeah, umikot ka eh. Sabi sa inyo, lang ikot muna.
Opo, coach.
Dito mo pasokin si Sen. Ha? Coach, ikaw lang 5 o 3 ka lang.
Okay, coach.
Para dito lang sila mag-isa.
Okay.
Sen, sigaw sa quick, ha?
Yes.
Go, 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 girls! Energy, energy, girls, ha? Hey, Creamline!
Nagising ang mga diwa ng Petro Gazz Angels dito sa ating set number 2. Gia Morado de Guzman looks at the score. It's 22 all because Gretchen Soltones and the rest of Petro Gazz kumapit, pumalag, and now have a little bit of confidence and momentum with them, Neo.
Right now, I like the blocking pattern of Petro Gazz. It's not that hindi nila pinapansin yung middle blocker and outside hitter. It's just that they recognize the strength of Creamline na mahilig si Gia de Guzman sa reverse setting. So in a way, medyo sinusugal nila yung other positions para magkaroon ng double block against Tots Carlos.
Ooh, that's crucial. Only 2 errors for Petro Gazz here in this set, but that might be really big. 23-22 with Tots Carlos going to that chop serve. That's out.
Another unforced error for the Creamline Cool Smashers.
That's 8 in this set. 23-all. Now this is the finals that we were looking for.
As expected. And alam naman natin yung potential ng Petro Gazz. They've been in worse situations in the semifinals, but they were able to pull through and still enter this final round of competition. So Creamline cannot be complacent, and just like that, that service ace will lead Petro Gazz to set point.
And it is Remy Palma serving, to the delight of the Petro Gazz fans here. 24, serving 23. From 6 points down. And we have a finals.
Now, Rem Palma getting that point, getting the help of the tape of the net just in time to save set number 2. We are finally tied at 1 set apiece.
Petro Gazz Angels again trying to break an 8-game losing streak to the Creamline Cool Smashers. And if they do it today, it will be the big one. Game 1 of the finals will continue. Back inside the SM Ball of Asia Arena, it is a 25-16 count for Creamline Cool Smashers, and then a 25-23 count for the Petro Gazz Angels. We have a match, we have a finals. Neil Flores, how did Petro Gazz do it?
Siguro kung may comeback award man tayo dito sa PVL, I think it's very fitting for the Petro Gazz Angels to get that award.
Parang last year, yun yung Cherry Tigo, diba? The comeback queens ngayon. It's Petro Gazz who's doing it.
Yeah, they were able to check the attacks of Tots Carlos doubling up on the defense, and it paid a lot of dividends for them. And with the errors committed by Creamline, it was just enough for Petro Gazz to steal set number 2.
What went wrong para naman sa Creamline? I mean, they had a lot of errors, obviously, we mentioned that.
That was definitely the focal point of set number 2. Later on, when we get to the numbers, dito natin malalaman kung paano nila na-negate yung mga attack points na na-contribute nila dun sa unforced errors na naibigay din nila sa Petro Gazz Angels.
And that was the last point. Remy Palma, Gretzel Soltones. Oh, that must be a kick in the gut for them. As you look at the 19 attacks, bumaba para dito. Pero yung errors, yun ang mabigat.
Kumbaga, 10 attack points lang yung tinabaho ng Petro Gazz. But the blocking department, it was really on point for the Gazz Angels. Idagdag pa natin dyan yung +6 opponent errors na ibinigay ng Creamline sa kanila.
In the preliminary match, which they lost, they outblocked Creamline Cool Smashers 8-0 in that one. And so far, Myla Pablo hasn't really made a lot of noise, just enough though to help her team. And now we are tied at 1-all. Watching us on One Sports, Boom Gonzalez, Neil Flores.
Right now, the leading scorer for Petro Gazz is MJ Phillips with 8 points. For Creamline, it's Eliza Valdez with 11.
Underhand to the other side. Wow, ang hirap nun. Both yung set at saka yung palo, Neil.
Gia de Guzman was already kneeling down, but she still managed to get that bump set papunta kay Tots Carlos.
She's got to be one of the best. Well, we know she's one of the best setters in general, but if not the best, the argument for some people. But I'm saying, as a ball chaser, and then the ability to set.
There's that level of calmness kasi sa kanya na kahit na ang bilis nung balikan ng bola, gumagana talaga yung utak.
That is out. So Valdez scores her 12th point off a block.
Another good start for the Creamline Cool Smashers. They know that they have that edge offense-wise, but again, they have to minimize the errors that they commit.
2-0 Creamline, set number 3. Gemma digging, reverse again to Tots. Nahuli ng konti yung block doon.
Better angle for Tots Carlos. Alam niya, kanina pa siya nakahawakan ng mga blockers ng Petro Gazz. This time, she went off the block to score their 3rd point in this 3rd set.
3-0. For last year's runner-up. Phillips has been productive.
MJ Phillips is the current leading scorer. 9 points and that's her 9th point. And she has been unchecked also from that middle blocker position. So Chisaan can continue to give her more attempts.
In her first finals here in the PVL, the transferee. Focused and ready to get the rally started. Wow. Linihis ni Panaga yung palo.
Let Panaga, seeing the established block from Remy Palma, changes her direction and her angle. And that was actually a double block from Pontillas and Palma.
That's a Thai Bundit specialty. You know when he always says
left and right.
Left, right, left, right. Misreceived. Panaga. 5-1. What a recovery here by Creamline. But this is way early in the 3rd set. Remember, they were up 6 in set number 2.
And every time mabigat yung service ng Creamline, ito rin yung panahon na nakakakuha sila ng kalamangan against the Petro Gazz Angels.
And I said earlier, Neil, one of the things that it does also for them is it settles them down when they're serving well. And a point will be given. Bumagsak na ba yung bola niya?
That was a good call from the referee. The ball touched the floor first before it reached the hands of Bang Pineda. So Creamline establishing an early 5-point lead while Petro Gazz calls for time.
Tama. Good call by Mark Santos.
Sakto. Mom, ikaw mo na yun. Mabit. Petro Gazz! Angels! Sige lang.
6-1 in set number 3, tied at 1-all. Watching game number 1 of the best-of-3 finals of the PVL 2022 Open Conference in front of a mammoth crowd here at the SM Mall of Asia Arena on a weekday. Is that Jesse De Leon? Kaya naman ka rin. Nandiyan naman pala si Mika Reyes. Sabi nga natin, nakita natin naglalakad. And another serve, this one aided by the net.
That's Panaga's version of a service ace. Kanina si Remy Palma getting the help of the tip of the net. This time, they will return the favor. Kayo naman receive nung sumabit sa net.
Gretzel. Palma with a power tip.
One of her signature moves. Yung power tip na yan from the runner.
Cutting the lead down to 5. The UST legend gets us going for this rally. Atienza with the first ball. Pineda was there. They open to Soltones. That's in.
She has been the most consistent Gazz Angel on the floor, talking about Gretchen Soltones.
Offense, defense.
Offense and defense. Even in their previous game, she managed to get 21 digs out of 36 attempts.
Lady Beast cuts the lead down to 4. Tots, soft hit, off speed.
Yan yung variation na hinahanap kanina ni Coach Sherwin Meneses.
We will be back with more of game number 1, third set. Watch exciting NBA games and get a chance to win awesome prizes from Signal. Just take a selfie with your TV while watching NBA games on NBA TV Philippines, One Sports, or TV5. For more information and to register to the promo, visit www.signal.tv. Let's go back to Alexis Tinsay.
We can all see the astounding performance of the Cool Smashers in all aspects, but we also know that they are being watched by Coach Sherwin sa kanilang mga errors that may disrupt their momentum any moment. Tots Carlos with 23 points, and that more than fixing lapses, converting their coverage into points is their priority. Pinaalala rin ni Tots na dahil lahat naman technically skilled, it's also their absorption of Coach Sherwin's instructions at diskarte na nila Coach kung saan sila dapat lumugar at susundin daw nila yon with full commitment. Let's continue with the heart of the volleyball shining during this rally.
Now this lead is up to 7 after that offensive block. Sino ba yun? Si Seth Domingo ba yun?
Yeah, I think that was Seth Domingo. And ganito yung nangyayari pag malinis na volleyball yung nilalaro ng Creamline Cool Smashers. No errors so far. That's why they are up top by 7 points.
They set up. Valdez finds the line at the back row, the back zones.
She was trying to go for that same angle in set number 2
You're
towards
right.
that tail end.
You're right.
Where she committed 2 unforced errors.
You're
But
right.
this time, that was right on the line for Eliza Valdez. Ibabaw din dun sa dalawang blockers.
Carlos kanina pa, serving. And she continues to do so. Soltones is checked.
Now, Creamline
What a fight
activating
back.
their blocking.
12-3. Domingo and De Guzman collaborating for the denial there. This is the biggest lead on any set so far. And Tots, boy, how can she keep up this serving kneel? Bumalik sa kanya. Valdez na naman. Balik kay Baldo. Atienza will send it to Tots from the back row. What can this girl not do today?
She is coming off that service line. Kanina pa siya dyan nag-jump serve, and that takes a lot of energy actually.
That's what I mean.
So for you to score and serve at the same time, amazing.
It is amazing. And who else is amazing? 22 excellent sets from Gia de Guzman.
With 4 points.
4 points. This one is out. The run ends, but it is at 1 point, a 10-point lead. I'm tired watching her serve. Soltones now in her turn. Good serve. Bump set to Eliza. That's out again. She's been miscalculating a little bit some of these long hits that she's doing.
She's been trying to go to a lot of different angles just to keep the defense of Petro Gazz guessing. But that was a no-go for Eliza Valdez in that last sequence.
The lead is down to 8. Highest of 10. Back to Valdez. This time, makes the adjustment.
Same spot. She scored a while ago in that angle. And she had an attack fault with a sharper cross-court angle. So babalik na lang siya dun sa original point of attack niya.
Yeah, I remember our conversation prior to the season. She said, you know, Boom, basically, I feel like I went through 4 bubbles. Sabi niya, from last year, the training bubble, the Ilocos bubble, yung kanyang TV show bubble, kasi bubble din yun in a way, and then the bubble training in Clark for this. But she said that her fire, her competition, her competitive fire is burning as hot as ever, she says. She seems to want that championship back from last year. Tots able to dig that one up. Valdez from behind. Chance ball. De Guzman opens up to Galanza. And we haven't heard from her in a long time. And an emphatic way to announce her comeback. 16-5. It has all been Creamline here in set number 3. Sino sa pagitan ng Barangay Ginebra at Meralco Bolts ang makahari this season sa pambansang laro ng bayan? Huwag palampasin ang mainit na bakbakan sa PBA Governors Cup Finals live every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday sa TV5 and One Sports. In the meantime, what's happening live too is this match between Creamline and Petro Gazz. And Creamline ahead by 12 now. What has changed here, Neil?
And that was another bullet from Gemma Galanza. Right now, in all aspects, Creamline finally made their adjustments. Yun yung maganda sa kanila. Napakabilis ng transition para maiayos yung sistema nila.
Reverse set, but it's a chance ball. Morado sa gitna, tinulak ni Sed at tinulak palabas. So the lead back down to 11. 12 is the biggest. This, well, actually in any set.
Now that MJ Phillips is in the front row for the Petro Gazz Angels, this is the perfect opportunity for Cheng to get more points for Petro Gazz.
Palma with the winning point in set number 2. He reverses to Tots again. This one paints the line. as she continues to go for the kill.
She may have been checked a while ago, but with the production of Galanza and Valdez, napapaisip tuloy ngayon yung middle blockers ng Petro Gazz.
Almost 14,000 in attendance on a Wednesday evening here at the SM Mall of Asia Arena. Happy to see you. Happy to have you. Stay safe and take care. And thanks for enjoying the PVL finals. And we'll see you for game number 2. But first, business at hand is game number 1, 18-6.
Creamline is attacking at a 63 rather percent efficiency compared to the 18% of the Gazz Angels.
That should improve with that attack from Myla Pablo. Are you talking about set 3?
Yes, set number 3 alone.
Pablo, who has had a lot of physical issues in the past years. Knee, back. And now this is not, it looks like she's cramping because they're pulling her, yeah. Again, which was the question earlier, Neil. I asked you earlier, will fatigue be a factor here? And I know this sounds a little off to say, but you're happy that that's cramps. I'll always say that over an ankle issue, over a knee issue.
If she can hydrate properly, pwede pa yang makabalik sa Myla Pablo later on. But now Nicole Tiamzon will be taking over that outside hitter position for the Petro Gazz Angels. An able scorer also, both good in offense and defense. So this can spark new momentum for the Petro Gazz Angels.
We'll keep you posted on the Myla Pablo issue. A run and gun attack by Panaga, who's also been very productive for Creamline. Productive and active. The production is what Creamline is known for. Multiple double-digit scorers is what they consistently have throughout the games. Against Chocomucho, they had 4 in double figures. Galanza off speed. Cheng opens to Tiami. And Tiami gets a point off the block.
As I said, Tiamzon, an able scorer also for the Petro Gazz Angels.
Also in front of her UP coach here at the SM Mall of Asia Arena. Gia napaluhod. Pineda. Set it to Gretzel. Gia will toss it to the other side. And an open spot that Tots Carlos found, giving them a 20-8 lead.
They have cracked the defense of the Petro Gazz Angels, limiting them to 8 points pa lang in set number 3.
Matching the biggest lead of the set at 12. What a touch by Tots.
11 points for Gemma Galanza, 10 attacks and 1 service ace.
Kyla was there, but Eliza had the right hand. So that will be a point for Petro Gazz.
Still, Gretchen Solton is doing the damage for the Gazz Angels. That has been the trend since the first set. We saw a mini run from MJ Phillips. But mostly it's Gretchen Soltones.
Gemma keeps it in play. Tots attacks. Oh! Sabete with great defense, but they could not get it across the net. What a pickup by Jonah Sabete the first time. And then the second time. But they couldn't chase it and keep it in play. (21 serving 9). Somebody touched the net even before, bago pa yata pumalo. Kasi yung Pito, ano na kagad.
Petro Gazz finally gets to the 10-point mark.
You're right. Ah, yes, sumapit. Cheng delivers a serve, gets the rally started. And Creamline gets side out, courtesy of the kill from Tots Carlos.
And the ability to bounce back, talking about Tots Carlos, even though she was checked a lot of times in that second set, says a lot about her improvement as a player. Dito natin na-distinguish yung mga magagaling at sa mas magagaling pa ng mga player, yung mga magaling mag-adjust.
3-point, courtesy of San Domingo on an over-reception by Tiami. 2 points away from a 2-1 lead. And it's in the heavy hands of Kaloy.
17 points so far. She's almost near her previous output in that semis.
Kaya naman na pag-uusapan sa MVP conversation this year. She's checked there. Atienza will send it over to Baldo. Baldo. Sabete. That's a good save by Tots, just not high enough for everybody or anybody to pick it up. But they have a comfortable lead here, which reached 13, by the way, at 23-10.
That's a good change of tempo from Jonas Sabete. But for Petro Gazz, they really have to fight power with power against a strong team in the Creamline Cool Smashers.
They delay the set, and yun yung sinasabi ni Neil na isa sa mga paborito nila ang combination play sa gitna. Kadalasan lumalabas yung benta ni Sed, yung singit ni Valdez sa gitna. Little collision there between Chami and Alyssa, but Alyssa seems to be okay. She has 16, Tots has 17. Oh, and a chance here for Creamline at set point. Gia, Sed, Sabete, Sed na naman.
Great pickup from Bang Pineda.
Gia will go back to Sed, and that is out.
And you can just see the defenders of the Petro Gazz Angels trying to read the offense of Creamline. But they get away with that one, courtesy of that unforced error from Sed Domingo.
Saving a set point, which was at 13 earlier. 12 more to save. Calanza is checked. Reverse kay Tots. And Creamline will go up 2-1 in game number 1 of the best-of-3 finals of the PVL 2022 Open Conference, live here on One Sports.
We are back here in the Mall of Asia Arena for Game 1 of our 2022 Open Conference of the PVL. That was set number 3 in favor of the Creamline Cool Smashers. We take a look at the set 3 highlights. They did bounce back big. They slipped in that second set with a lot of unforced errors, but they took control in all aspects of the game. Come set number 3 later, we'll get a feel of how Creamline dominated that game. That set, I mean, but in this fourth set, it's the last chance of the Petro Gazz Angels to bounce back and force an extension to set number 4. It was a balanced effort for the Creamline Cool Smashers with Gemma Galanza, Tots Carlos, and Eliza Valdez taking charge of the offense. And we also have to give credit to the defense of Kyla Atienza being solid, a solid anchor for the Creamline Cool Smashers. Gia de Guzman also doing a good job in distributing the balls, and she really got everybody involved. 20 attack points for the Creamline Cool Smashers, plus 13. And even in the blocking department, Creamline had the edge against the Petro Gazz Angels. Mas malinis ngayon ang nilaro ng Creamline Cool Smashers with only 5 unforced errors. We turn you over to Alexis Tinsay for a report.
Maiza Pontillas, who scored 17 points earlier, mentioned na masarap sa pakiramdam manalo ngayong araw dahil matatanggal na raw talaga yung matagal na siyang hindi nakatungtong sa finals muli. Kaya ngayon tatrabahuhin talaga nila ang lahat dahil wala nang aabangan kundi ang finals na ito. They will give everything to stay composed despite lapses para sa lahat na sumuporta sa kanila. And for an update on Myla Pablo, she is currently being treated from her muscular cramps due to intense fatigue given her 3rd straight game right after the semifinals. Let's get back to the intense volleyball action here on One Sports.
Thank you very much, Alexis. Neil, she hasn't played a lot this conference, talking about Myla Pablo. Very limited time. All of a sudden, in the semifinals, ramped up. Body not used to it? Is that what it is, Neil? Or just the effects of the semifinals?
Well, that may be the actual reason kung bakit hindi siya yung starting 6 ng preliminaries.
Okay. Right.
Well, they needed Myla Pablo really in the starting unit because we all know the scoring output that she provides for the Petro Gazz Angels. It's just that maybe she reached her tipping point after back-to-back games. I mean, that was 3 semifinals games for the Petro Gazz Angels.
At pinuntahan siya ng pinuntahan, ano? As Gemma Galanza scores again here, they get their first point here at set number 4. You're watching us live on One Sports. Everybody watching on Signal Play also, whether it's the replays or any time of the day that you're watching. Thank you, Boom Gonzalez and Neil Flores. One Sports coverage, 1 serving 2. Make that 2-all.
They have been targeting Maiza Pontillas on the receiving end. So there should be some adjustments on the floor of the Petro Gazz Angels. Pwede nang paabantehin ni Bang Pineda si Maiza Pontillas para siya na ang kukuha. Ang iisipin na lang ngayon ni Pontillas ay to attack the defense of the Creamline Cool Smashers.
They've kind of neutralized her here. I know si Aiza has not been able to really get herself going. But this is a new set, a new chance to tie it, and of course their intention is bring it to set number 5. Para naman sa Creamline, no chance to relax for them. They know that. Pipe attack. Galanza off speed. Sabete, Bumuelo. Atienza. Valdez puts it away.
Eliza Valdez really milking that middle part of that backcourt. And going through the gap between the blockers of the Petro Gazz Angels.
Inunahan niya si Saad at si Palma. Couldn't close in. Panaga will serve 3-all. That hits the antenna. Creamline ahead 2 sets to 1. Again, last time Creamline lost to Petro Gazz. It was July 14, 2019 in the reinforced conference. But in the finals, tabla tayo at 1-1. Miss set. Dots. One-on-one against Pretzel Soltones. Access denied.
That can be the impact play Petro Gazz needs to be able to establish their own version of a lead against the Creamline Cool Smashers. Rachel Soltones, again, great game so far for her.
Yeah, she really has been the only one who's been consistent all throughout. Hey, not bad. Get some 3 points via the serve, why don't you? 6-3, and Coach Sherwin will call a timeout.
Masabay tayo sa kanila eh. Masabay tayo. O, execute lang ulit tayo ng maganda.
Okay.
Gia, hindi kayo kailangan maratel. Pasa muna. Kung wala, set lang ng maayos sa open.
Sorry ako, boy.
Okay? Isa-isa lang muna. Isa-isa lang.
We have to get on.
Energy, girls! Energy! Hey, Creamline! Happy!
Perfect shot yun.
Creamline won the third set handily now. Sense of urgency for the Petro Gazz Angels, and they start off the set with just that. And they lead by 3, 6-3. That's out.
Alyssa Valdez clearly has the advantage over Chisaet in the blocking department.
That's Carlos back serving. Let's see who she will target here. It's Sabete that she targeted the first one.
And that's still the liability dito sa floor defense ng Petro Gazz Angels.
So on Friday, we'll have game number 2. That's in Antipolo, in Linares. And in between the third place game, the bronze medal game, and the finals, the championship, which is game 2, in between we will have the individual awards for the PVL Open Conference. Yes.
That's something to look forward to, lalo na yung mga fans inaabangan who will emerge on top of these individual awards.
Right. Palma will serve 7-5 now here in set number 4. Fatigue or no fatigue, Petro Gazz has no choice but try to extend this to a 5. Chance to set for Gia. Palma. Back to Creamline. Back to Alyssa. Palma na naman. Soltones ends the point with authority.
Rachel Soltones loving that play, getting Petro Gazz to the first technical timeout.
One Sports is available for free on Signal Play. One Sports Plus is available on Signal Play Premium for 75 pesos a month. How is Petro Gazz? What has changed here in set number 4, Neil?
Well, in set number 4, napapagana na nila yung offense nila. Jonas Sabete starting it off right. And Rachel Soltones following it up with another point. So this is a good sign for the Gazz Angels. And now MJ Phillips trying to go for that kill.
Gemma back to Valdez. 8-6. look at that again as she continues to put it away today. Repeatedly for Creamline. She goes back to the service deck. She's got 18 points. Make that 19 on 17 attacks. But a service error breaking their momentum. So a 3-point lead for Petro Gazz. 9 will be serving 6. Unable to set much today. Binigay lang. Yung puntos, pabalik sa Creamline. Chocomucho winning in 4 sets over Signal HD Spikers earlier in our first game. So they are a win away from bagging a bronze, which is an improvement from last year.
Yeah, they finished 4th last year. They lost both the series, but this time they are poised to take the bronze medal against the Signal HD Spikers.
Phillips, that is in.
Phillips just using all of her height to take that point against the Creamline Cool Smashers.
One blocker to beat, and a way shorter blocker at that. Sumabit sa mga kamay ni Gia. Galanza again with that cross-court acute angle. It's like a replay of what we saw earlier, Neil. Look at her detonate, elevate, and punctuate.
What a clean hit from Gemma Galanza.
That face says it all, too. There are such things as impact points, as you always say. That might be the one for them. And a block, still alive, Sabete. Atienza, hinabol ni Morado, pinigay kay Tots. Sinungkit ni Phillips. Sabete with the off-speed.
And you have to be able to challenge the blockers of the Creamline Cool Smashers. That soft touch didn't work. I was actually expecting her to go for a power hit.
I thought so too, yeah. Nagdalawang isip, ano? Bumuelo eh. Gia serving 9-10. Biggest lead was 3 in this set. Aiza. We haven't heard from her in a while.
And they need Aiza Maizo Pontillas to get on the board for the activate silang lahat ng sabay-sabay. Yun yung problema ng Creamline.
4 points pa lamang. Galanza. Oh, good save by Phillips, but they couldn't send it over. So, lead is again down to 1.
Probably the closest set so far we've had here in game number 1.
Good dive there by Phillips. Galanza serving again, 11. Make that 10-11. Set number 4. Ooh, what happened there, Neil?
Miscommunication error. I thought that set was supposed to go to Sabete, pero akala siguro ni Gretchen Sultans that it was set up for her para sa back row attack.
So tabla tayo for the first time here as Creamline down 3, able to crawl back into contention for set 4. Galanza serves it up. Over-received na naman. Side keeps it in play. Panaga asked for it, but it's Valdez who gets it. Sabete. Back to Valdez with the extension and the put away.
Eliza Valdez always finding the gap in the defense of the Petro Gazz Angels. Medyo nahuli na doon si Remy Palma because she was guarding Janet Panaga. So that was enough time for Eliza Valdez to go cross-court.
That's classic. Vintage. And they take over the lead, by the way, Neil, for the first time here in set 4. Bang was there for coverage. They go back to Eliza, has had the hot hand. Chance ball. Tots. Unloads.
And that is the problem. When you have 3 attackers on the floor for the Creamline Cool Smashers, hindi mo alam kung kanino ka pupunta.
And all credit to Gia de Guzman again, just orchestrating beautifully here as they were down 3, now up 2.
Pwede mo lang.
Alaman tayo eh. Ngayon pa. So, yun ulit ang gagawin nila. Iisibol nila sa'yo. Diba? Ang dami mong option sa harap.
Kasi natakihan, iwan si Rembo. Pinanisin yung dalawang gitana blockers, ha?
Petro Gazz! Nakita mo.
Again, if you just tuned in, wondering what happened to Myla Pablo, she suffered some cramps earlier after an attack. Liza's big brother housemates are in attendance. Yun yung sinasabing third bubble na pinagdaanan niya. Sabi niya she went through 4 bubbles daw, including that one. She was isolated with the housemates. They're all invited here for game number 1. Papakitang gila si Eliza in front of them.
Well, she does have 20 points already in this ball game, matching the output of Tots Carlos. And Gemma Galanza has 15. And Panaga with 13.
Oh. Tied 13 all. Sabete gets credit for that point. Sorry, check that. 12-13 rather. Gia will go to Tots in the middle.
Campfire.
Yeah.
Nagkatinginan si Jonah Sabete and Chisaet. When in doubt, you just get the ball. Di bali na kung sino makakuha as long as someone attempts.
Donut hole. Point. 14 serving 12. Bangs on deck. Sumisigaw ng kapit yung mga fans ng Petro Gazz dito. Something they do very well.
Jonah Sabete stops the bleeding for the Petro Gazz Angels. They're still very much in this ball game. It's just a 1-point lead. They've been in worse situations.
Yeah, I feel like they're like a 1 mini run away to put some pressure on Creamline here. Down 1. Gia will open up, but a catch and throw violation.
One of the few times she
Rare.
makes that mistake.
Yeah. Double contact on the ball. So we are tied, 14 all. Carlos on your screens, 19 of 43. That's actually around her percentage, 44%. She's got 2 aces, 21 points for Tots. Domingo this time. Sabi niya, ako naman.
She can be the 5th double-digit scorer for the Creamline Cool Smashers
Very
if she
capable.
continues that performance.
Seth Rodriguez, the first time she shows up here. Pinalitan muna si Remy Palma. Bang, easily takes the first ball. Valdez also does the same. Galanza from behind, puts it away. To the roar and appreciation of the crowd for Creamline, 16-13. Beat the heat ngayong April with Signal's super loaded deals. May 300 pesos off at free 1 month. Pag nag-subscribe ka ng Signal hanggang April 30 lang, subscribe na at pumunta sa malapit na Signal store or call 8888-5555. Almost 14,000 people at the SM Mall of Asia arena as Myla Pablo greeted by the crowd as she recovers from cramps. Second referee, Erwin Cordero, taking a look at the formation, and we are off for this rally. It is Tots Carlos and Creamline with a 2-point lead, 16-14, and a 2-sets-to-1 lead here in game number 1.
Being the fighter that she is, alam natin na hindi susuko si Myla Pablo, lalo na't we're already in the finals. So as much as possible, she will provide all the help that she can give for the Gazz Angels.
That's out. No check.
Now this is a full front line for the Gazz Angels. They have Phillips, Soltones, and Myla Pablo. So Cheng will have a field day in choosing that option for attack for Petro Gazz.
Seth Rodriguez will get us going for this rally. Creamline will look for the side out. Oh, dalawang sunod na nakailalim, but they're looking for check. None there. What has happened in the last couple of plays for Seth?
Again, it was the mistimed setting. Papunta dito kay Seth Domingo. She prefers maybe a higher set for that quick attack.
Like I said, maybe a mini run to get Petro Gazz going here. They tie it now at 16. They go Valdez this time. Pumorsyento muna si Gia.
There was no way Seth Rodriguez would have popped that up. Again, Eliza Valdez going cross-court. Hindi nakahawakan ng blocker ng Petro Gazz.
17 serving 16. This time, Phillips is unable to get it through. As Seth Domingo bumawi sa depensa.
If she can't do it on offense, she will do it on defense. Talking about Seth Domingo. The coverage from the Gazz Angels was not there.
So the lead is back to 2. Soltones still gets the point on a runner.
That was an ad-lib play already from Gretchen Soltones, but she still found a way to get that point for Petro Gazz.
So it's 17 serving 18. Set number 4. Petro Gazz looking to extend to a 5th again. Galanza. Ooh! Looking for a frontline attack. Frontline point. So a couple of mishits here by Domingo and Galanza to give Petro Gazz a little window of opportunity. Misreceived. Galanza sent back. Gia back to Tots. Tots still able to score.
Got a lot of help from that net. Saktong-sakto yung power to go through that double block of Phillips and Soltones. Now Cayetano will be serving once again for the Creamline Cool Smashers.
Serving and defense. Seth Domingo will go to the bench. 19 serving 18. Creamline saw that coming. Tots will try again. Sabete was there. Soltones. Eliza digging. Galanza. Side will open up. Valdez again with a pickup. Galanza na naman.
Oh, what a big block from MJ Phillips. Finally, the defense of Petro Gazz kicking in just in time in set number 4. Let's also give credit to Jonas Abete keeping that backcourt steady for Petro Gazz.
This was the one from Phillips. 19 all. Very tight fourth set. Panaga, sarado.
Jonas Abete digging well, now blocking well. They take over the Creamline Cool Smashers 20-16. serving 19.
This is the mini run that I was talking about that may come at the right time for the Petro Gazz Angels.
Wala nang spacing pag dito. Okay lang, okay lang. O, receive lang ulit tayo, ha? Sige, Gemma, strong side mo yan, eh. O, kung gusto mo naman, Gia, D3, pwede naman. Okay. Tots, ha? Back row, back row.
Pasa ko. Let's go!
Isang patay lang muna tayo. Isang receive.
Okay, go! Hey, Creamline!
We're not surprised with how this game is going and how game number 1 is going. Two very proud teams, two rivals, PVL rivals, going at it regardless of composition. I know there are a lot of new players and returning players for Petro Gazz, but from a franchise standpoint, from a company standpoint, they are the PVL rivals. They are 1-1 in the finals. Petro Gazz just wants to extend this, and a great timeout by Coach Sherwin to freeze Gretzel Soltones. A crucial error. Now we're tied, but she's confident that she can get the point back. 37 excellent sets from the former finals MVP. Back-to-back service errors.
Tit for tat for Creamline and Petro Gazz off that service line.
Some nerves maybe, some stress, some tension. 11 points from Marjana. Carlos on the open side. Oh, nagdalawang isip.
Another miscue. This time on defense for the Petro Gazz Angels.
Oh, and another case of cramps, this time on their most consistent player. And I did pose the question in the first set to Neil if fatigue will come into play here. Earlier, it was Myla Pablo suffering from cramps. Now it's Gretzel Soltones. It was cramps, right? They were stretching her, right?
Well, we hope so.
Hope so, hopefully, yeah.
It's really time for the Gazz Angels to utilize their bench players. Now it's up to Jonah Sabete and Aiza Maizo Pontillas to take charge.
21 all. Petro Gazz has got to keep their composure and not get distracted. Pineda, Sabete, Atienza unable to keep it in play, and it is Petro Gazz with the lead.
When you have one or two teammates down, iba yung motivation na nadadala nun sa mga natitira on the floor, and Jonah Sabete is stepping up to the plate, getting another point for the Petro Gazz Angels. They're up by 1 point against Creamline.
It can be a distraction, but it hopefully will be a motivation. Chance for Petro Gazz. And they are up by 2. 23, 21, set 4.
This is the finals that we all deserve.
Expected and deserved. Gia, inabot ni Panaya. Sabete na naman. Valdez, clutch.
She will always be clutch. And now it's time for the Cool Smashers to bring back Seth Domingo.
And Kyle Negrito to serve. Oh, what a moment. And so this is what...
But they will have two setters on the floor. So I think Negrito will be defending and the Guzman will be setting for the Cool Smashers.
But first the serve. And it's a loaded serve. Sabete. Calanza digging. Valdez na naman. Open.
Whoa! That was a point for Petro Gazz. A check ball called on that attack from Jonah Sabete. No, look now. Petro Gazz is at set point.
What a set. What a game. And what a response. But are we really surprised by Petro Gazz's efforts here? Goosebumps as the crowd appreciates the action. Atienza will go back to Valdez.
What an attack from Eliza Valdez. No nerves there.
Just listen to this crowd erupt.
What an angle from Eliza Valdez.
What a cut shot.
Hindi kayo walang gigil, ha? Cover tayo dito, ha? Pasok ka, pasok ka. Maganda ang buka mo.
I don't know what to feel, Neil. One moment it's goosebumps, the next moment it's tension, it's stress, but definitely it's excitement. And then there's also a feeling, a bad feeling for Gretzel Sultones, who we can see right now on the bench being attended to. But right now it is Tots Carlos trying to save another set point. Creamline was able to save one at 24-22.
Tots Carlos will be going to her usual jump serve. This can be an either-or scenario.
Always.
She can score a point.
High
she
risk.
can commit a service error.
High risk, high reward. That's why we love it.
And that's an ace!
High risk, high reward. And some players maybe will play safe. Tots Carlos says, no, I'm gonna go for it.
And that is just maturity for the side of Tots Carlos, one of our youngest players on the floor.
And we go into an extension. Open. Bumalik. Nicole Tiamzon again. Valdez will send it over for a free ball. 24-all. Balik kay Nicole. Dug up. Valdez. Saved by Petro Gazz. Chance. They saw it coming. They saw it coming. Another set point for Petro Gazz.
Jada Guzman was asking for an overreaching violation, but it will not be granted. Good news for Petro Gazz. Nandiyan na si MJ Phillips sa harapan. Another option for offense.
This is not for the weak of heart. 25-24. Set point number 3 in the hands of Seth Rodriguez. Gia, back to Eliza. Again! How many times, how many years have we seen that?
Eliza Valdez, when the going gets tough, she will score a point. 25-all.
Tiamzon is blocked. Sabete keeps it up. Chance for Creamline here. Galanza. Gia. Balik kay Gemma. Sayet to Phillips. Joust.
Oh, Nicole Tiamzon! Breaking the defense of the Creamline Cool Smashers. Saving another set point. Wow, what a game!
What an exchange. Look
What
at that
a
reaction.
save.
Another set point, number 4 for Petro Gazz. Can they complete it? Domingo, a chance for Petro Gazz here. Atienza to Galanza. The call is Creamline point.
Yes, that was a check ball on one of the blockers of the Gazz Angels. They said that it didn't go over, pero yung linesman tinawag na may check ball. Let's take a look at this replay. Oh yeah, it looked like it grazed the arms of Aiza Maizo, the forearm.
Wow, 26 all again, saving another set point. MJ asking for it. Carlos gets it. Galanza, long ball. Tiamzon.
Oh! MJ Phillips with the hammer! There was no way that she wasn't getting that point.
Set point number 5.
And we have to commend Nicole Tiamzon for being very steady para sa Gazz Angels.
As a replacement, no Gretzel Soltones, no Myla Pablo. 6th set point.
Now that's crucial. A crucial service error for the side of Petro Gazz.
27 all.
It will all boil down to good service reception kung sinong unang bibitaw sa receive.
Gia with the crucial serve. Phillips gets it through!
It was a low set from Chisaed. Buti na lang nagawa ng paraan ni MJ Phillips. Look at that. With just enough force.
Just enough.
Yeah.
Set point number 7. Carlos.
What a smart play from Tots Carlos. You can see the focus of the players na bago sila pumalo, sinisilip nila yung kamay ng blockers.
How? How do you do it with this roaring 14,000 crowd, Neil? That's the amazing part. They're zoning out the crowd.
Now Eliza Valdez is back in the front row for the Cool Smashers.
A chance for Creamline. They go to Tots on the other side. Back to Creamline. Eliza. And it is Creamline with a set point this time. $22 big points, 24 big points for Valdez. Check that, 25 after that. Chance for Petro Gazz again. Aiza.
Aiza Maizo Pontillas. Talk about the right timing. Scoring crucial points.
Well, like we said, seen it all, done it all. Kinakabahan pa kaya yung mga yan?
Doesn't look like it.
No, no. 29 all.
Same strategy for Eliza Valdez. Attacking the blocking of Chisaed. Another match point for the Creamline Cool Smashers. Nasa 30-point mark na tayo.
Both teams, Neil. Amazing effort. Amazing play.
That's why they're here in the finals.
Jonah inabot. Gemma will go back to Eliza. Malayo sa net. That is out. 30 We're shaking our heads with the kind of action that we're watching here. Jonas Sabete will get us going for this rally in set number 4. Atienza with the first ball. Tots.
Nerves of steel for Tots Carlos.
And guess what? Set point, serve ni Tots.
Look at that off-speed attack, well executed by Tots Carlos. Now he is in the service line. She scored an ace a while ago. Let's see if she can do it again.
Aiza easily takes the first ball. Tiamzon is checked. They go back to Nicole. Set back. Oh! 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 Creamline pulls it out of the fire. 32-30 on a hitting error.
Petro Gazz had a chance to tie it all up, but Rodriguez committed that unforced error.
Oh boy, that hurts. They have surpassed the longest set that we had, which was 38 or 30-28 between F2 and the PLDT high-speed hitters just recently in the classification round. But flowers to both teams, Neil, because they provided extreme entertainment. Everybody watching here and on TV, regardless of the outcome. Both teams just didn't want to give the set away, but it is Creamline that shows the steady nerves at the end of set 4, 32-30 here in game number 1. And we will be back to wrap this baby up. epic fourth setter, which felt like a five-setter anyway, Neil, and a win by the Creamline Cool Smashers. 32-30, the longest set that we've had in the PVL 2022 Open Conference. Rightfully so, it happens in the finals, and a treat for the almost 14,000 people here in the SM Mall of Asia Arena. So many great individual performances, Neil, but who did you pick as player of the game?
We've always put recognition dun sa mga attackers ng mga teams, but it's high time to put the spotlight sa woman behind the scenes here for the Creamline Cool Smashers. Gia de Guzman doing an excellent job as their main setter in today's finals game.
And Gia is with Alexis Tinsay for this interview.
Definitely smashing with 39 excellent sets and 15 excellent digs. Here with me is Gia de Guzman of the Creamline Cool Smashers. Congratulations, Gia.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And you are one win away from reclaiming your PVL throne. What can you say about your overall performance and also your teams?
We're very grateful for the win today, but same as the semis, you can't win it in just one game. There's still one more to go. So there's still a lot for us to improve, even if it's the finals. We're just going to go back to training tomorrow and work on the things now we could have, done better today.
And what we love about Creamline is that they adjust quickly to their lapses and really give out their best game. And secondly, it was a close match, as we all saw. And it's not your first time to battle against Petro Gazz. What drove you to power through?
We really have to give credit also to Petro Gazz. They give us a really good game. But it's the semis. It's the last few days of the... it's the finals. It's the last few days of the PVL. So, buhos na namin lahat ng pinaghirapan namin sa bubble training and sa lahat ng ensayo namin, even last conference, dinadala namin ngayon, and that's what drove us to do better and do our best for this game.
And lastly, Gia, ano masasabi mo sa pink crowd dito sa MOA Arena?
I'd like to thank all of our Creamline supporters and also everyone who are supporting us from their homes. Hello also to the Morado family and the Guzman family, also to Zach, Nate, and Cassie. Ingat parate and God bless.
Congratulations again, Gia, and to the rest of the Creamline Cool Smashers, who's one win away from a championship. Let's turn over to the panel for more exciting volleyball action news.
Regardless of who you're talking to Creamline, they always refer to last year's heartbreak. As I opened up earlier, Neil, they don't talk about it and dwell about it too much, but it's really what's powering them. They want that championship, and that's one of the reasons why they hung tough in that set number 4, Neil.
And that's the edge of the Creamline Cool Smashers. They quickly adjust to the lapses in their defense and their offense, and talagang they come together as a team to win games. That's why up until now, they are still undefeated.
Yep, and until now, they continue their 9-game winning streak over the Petro Gazz Angels, which dates back to July of 2019. Elisa Valdez, when they needed her most too, Gia kept going to her too.
Yeah, 4 players, or maybe 5, scored double digits for the Creamline Cool Smashers. Let's also give credit to Kyle Atienza, being excellent on the floor, both in receptions and in digging, and even in the coverage dun sa likod ng mga attackers niya. And they are now 1 game away from closing out this series against the Petro Gazz Angels.
But our hats are tipped off. We have to tip off to the Petro Gazz Angels, Neil. They really pushed Creamline Cool Smashers. More than that preliminary match, kahit na nag-5 sets yun, dito talaga tinulak nila down Myla Pablo, down Gretzel Soltones.
Yeah, we do hope that they get better in time for game number 2 so that we can see everybody competing on the floor. But in this specific match, 76 attacks ang naitala ng Cool Smashers compared to the 41 of the Petro Gazz Angels. If there's anything na napansin ko, kailangan lang talaga i-minimize ng Cool Smashers yung mga errors nila. Because in the sets na marami silang errors, yun yung naibibigay to their opponents. But let's also applaud them for doing splendid work on their floor defense. 89 digs compared to the 31 of Petro Gazz.
Grabe yun. Grabe. And, the 12 errors, malinis yung laro ng Petro Gazz, which is why they really were in this and had a chance to extend us at the very least to a 5. But again, the championship experience, the chemistry, familiarity of Creamline coming into play, which sets us up for Friday. As we mentioned, battle for third between Signal HD Spikers and Chocomucho. They want that bronze medal. Talking about Chocomucho, they're up ahead in that series. In between that will be the individual awards, and then we get to game number 2. That's all happening in Inares Center in Antipolo. Will the Cool Smashers get the finals or get the championship after game number 2? Or will Petro Gazz Angels do what they do best and come back in a series and force a game number 3? That and those are the questions that we will pose so you can sleep on it, and then Wednesday we'll find out the answer. What a game, what a day, what a crowd, and what action provided by 2 outstanding teams here in the PVL. Creamline and Petro Gazz will go at it again on Friday. For Alexis Tinsay, Neil Flores, I'm Boom Gonzalez, and for everybody working behind the scenes for One Sports, thank you for watching the PVL, the heart of volleyball.